I have, what's the right word? It's like,
vitamins to help.
it's all just the explosion
Damage,
off
then
that
it seems to
movement.
be
It's not like I'm thinking about, all right, I'm punching and then I'm pulling my arm back, right? Because if I think, God, pull my arm back, right? You see how it stays tense through the movement, even here in my grab. Whereas what I really want is I want to just touch and explode. So as soon as it hits, it's light. So that's me coming through with all that different kind of movement, right? You feel how right off that hit, I was able to open into another movement, right? That's where you can start to really design more technique off of what you're doing. So what I want you guys to do, right? You get in the stance. It doesn't have to be super low, but kind of sink in, right? Remember what you were just talking about. So feel the stance. Don't just get in the stance. Feel out the ground a little bit, right? Whatever level you want to sink to, right? And then here, same idea as before, right? You're touching the energy wall, right? Now, I don't want you guys to get so focused on like, right, that part. Just let the hand kind of come out to the energy wall. And once it touches, right, feel where your contact point is, feel what you're heating up. So, reset first. When you're coming out, feel what's heating up. So have your energy wall, like visualize it in front of you, and feel which part of your hand is going to be connecting to that energy wall. So how are you going to be moving from point A? Like how is that energy directing your movement, right? You already see where the hit is, right? And now all you're doing is you're letting your body follow the design of that movement. Don't try to create it as you're going. Have a sense of how to design it, where you're going ahead of time, and let your body kind of conform to it. Now once it touches, right, don't worry so much about getting there. Just get there. Once you're there, I want you to pay attention to the float back. You're going to come back slow, right? So what I really want you to pay attention to here isn't getting to the energy wall. It's coming back off it. So however I get there is however I get there, right? I'm here. Now just float and really feel that part. Feel how your hand's coming down. Feel how your structure is settling. And then draw the hand back in. So the path you're going to follow once you connect, right? So I feel that connection. Contact that energy wall. Feel where I'm grounding into it. And from here, it lets go and it just floats. So see how my hand just floats back down. Then I draw back in. That's really where I start to reconnect with the body, right? It's like there's that moment of contact and everything just short circuits. My whole being is kind of like electrocuted. You ever been electrocuted before?
Like hardcore.
Not hardcore.
Definitely touched an outlet that's sparky and you go, ooh.
Right? And that's exactly it, right? When you get sparked, there's no like, you just feel that like electricity shoot through your body. There's no consciousness. You're just responding off of it. And that's kind of how you want to feel this.
Can you explain real quick what you're saying about setting up the shot?
What do you mean?
The heating up part.
Heating part.
Heating up part, visualizing.
So when you're standing in front of me, right, you create my map, right? So it's like I see where I want to hit, and I already have a design in mind. So which part of my hand is going to hit where? So I want to hit right there with this part of my knuckle. So this hit's going to come in down and that way.
Just saying for purposes of exercise, at least have a clear vision of where on the energy wall you're hitting.
Yes.
So I imagine without somebody standing in front of you, it's going to be more abstract.
Yes.
So then does it become more of a picture of what part of your hand
Yeah.
you're hitting with, or is it also
It's
just
both.
like where
You
it is
have to know where your energy wall is. Because my energy wall is here, and I want to, like, I feel that heat up. It's going to hit differently. So that's where this hit's going to come in, right? It forms differently. But I'm not trying to think about the movement. Does that make sense? Like if I think of like, okay, I'm going to put my hand right here, right? So see how this is all this like thought about how I'm moving from point like
here?
Yeah, it's just there. It's already there, and all I'm doing is I'm connecting my body to that movement.
And could I put my energy wall if I want to practice it here, or there, or that?
Yes, right? Your energy walls are everywhere. So you're always just connecting to that. So all you need to do is understand that that connection's already made, and your body just needs to follow through on the movement, right? So I'm not worried so much about how you get to that point, right? If you want to go this way, if you want to go this way, right? If you want to go, all those are fine. But what you need to understand is you're connecting, there's that range, right? Your energy wall designates your range, and then there's a specific point that you're contacting that energy wall with. So all you have to do is make that contact, right? So this is where my contact is. From here, what I'm really thinking about now is just how I float back off that movement. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So just have that range, have that point that heats up, and let the two of them meet. And don't really get too worried about the details on that. And just float. Come back to the pot. Make sure you're working with your whole structure. Sit in those stances a little bit more. Feel where your stance is. Now, what I want you guys to start working on, right, the next exercise, is we're going to come out, same way as before. And now when you do that connection, you're going to explode back, right? So I'm not worried so much about how the hand's going to move off that hip, right? You're just going to connect and explode. And then when it explodes, I let it come back to the pocket. So, and then it floats back, right? And what you want to do is you want to eliminate the choppiness in that movement. So you can see how, right, if I'm doing it wrong, it's going to kind of go here, right? You see how there's all of this like jerkiness in my body movement. And then I have to like resettle and bring everything back down, right? That means I'm over projecting from certain parts of my body, right? My shoulder, my chest, right? This part of my abdominal muscles are kind of like pushing the punch in. So when you feel that recoil stop moving, that's when you're going to recognize where your body's getting stuck. So when you have that explosive back movement, it's like your whole body just kind of goes limp for a second. Not limp, but like it's just, you're just absorbing the recoil with your body movement. Does that make sense? So don't, like that, like don't pull it back. Just kind of connect to that energy wall. Feel where everything expands in from that contact point, whatever point you're heating up. And then from there, just let it explode. And however it comes back, however it comes back. Right?
So is it okay if it comes here and the pocket here?
Yes.
And the pocket?
Don't worry about where it's going.
But you just don't want that to be choppy.
Yeah. So it comes in and then it floats back down. Right? Even there it got a little bit stuck, right? I'm still working on this as well. But that's kind of what you want to feel. You want to feel that explosion kind of come out. And when you float back, you just float back. Again, a little too good at it. But you get the idea. Good. And don't lose your stance either. So connect. Feel that point. And let it come back. However it comes back. And do it at your own pace. You don't have to follow me. I'll keep around how you guys do.
And is your fist only fully 100% closing at the point of contact with the other people?
I mean, I'm not even really worried about closing my fist. I'm just connecting, right? So if that connection closes your fist, then it closes your fist. If your connection kind of a little bit looser and open, that's fine as well. We want to feel your structure line up on that point on the energy wall. It's like everything just settles into that contact point, whatever that is, right? And you feel that. And then from here, it explodes back. And that's, but it's okay. So, I want to show you what everyone's doing. Right? If someone's standing in front of you, this is what's happening right now. You guys are going in this way, and then you're pushing and then pulling it. explode back from the point. So if Alex's hands are up, right? So just drilling with this, right? It's not that. See how that pushes? I get here, I touch, and I push in and I pull my hand back. That's not it. It touches, right? And feel how it explodes back immediately from that point. There may be a little bit of expansion and contraction happening, but I'm not thinking about pushing into the energy wall any further. This is my contact point. This is where everything connects. And there's my explosion back. Do you feel the difference? Right? There's no that. There's no like here, touch, push, pull. Right? That's what everyone's doing right now. And I'm guilty of it as well. Right? But the difference is in how it'll hit. Right? So if Alex is up here and he's fighting, when I hit, if I hit and I push, pull, right? Yeah. If I hit, I connect, and I explode. You can see the difference in how it hits his body. And that's what you want. That's where you generate those percussions. That's where you generate those explosions from. So don't go in, push, pull, right? Connect, and explode back. So it's like one, it's like, it literally is like you're exploding back off of that point. There's no other way for me to explain it. It's like wherever I touch from, right? So you can see how my explosion generated into the next hit. Alex can feel that, right? There's this connection right here with my fingers. And I'm able to use that to feed it right into the next shot. And that's where we're going to come in here. That's where all that other stuff starts to turn out into. Right? But each one of these explosions generates something. So you can see how I was even able to set up this break right here, right, where I'm breaking the structure down. And all it took was feeling where those explosions are coming from. So it's not, don't try to map it out so much in your head. The more you think about it, the less you'll be able to do it. So just kind of touch, feel where you're connecting, and then all I want you to do is think that that point that you've heated up, right? It's like the energy wall is like a nitroglycerin, right? So you got this little spark that's right here, and the spark touches that wall of nitroglycerin. As soon as it hits it, right, you can kind of let it load. You're like, all right, ready? But as soon as the spark hits that nitroglycerin, the whole thing explodes, right? Don't try to push it any further than that. Does that make sense? So don't worry so much about the push. Just get out here. You know what? Let's make it even simpler. So don't get into super low stance or anything like that. Just put your hand out. That's all I want you to do. Right? From here, get it back to your body as fast as possible. That's all I want you to do. Right? Just snap it back to your own body. Right? Float your hand out. Snap it back to your body. Right? Float your hand out. And let it hang out there for a second. Let it hang out. Feel where it is in space and time. And then try to get it back to you as fast as possible. It doesn't matter where it winds up. If it winds up here, it winds up here, if it winds up here, if it winds up here, if you want to hit yourself in the face, well, point and laugh, but that actually means you're probably doing the exercise well. Right? So, float, nice and easy. Feel that connection. And let it come back to your body as fast as possible. Float. But see how there's not so much heaviness. Right? Nice and fast, nice and light. So you got a snap, that's good. I want to hear that snap when you're doing it right. That's better. So don't forget that touch, right? Let it float. It's like kind of floating in the water, floating in the ether, right? You're just letting it hang out there for a second. And then it just explodes back. That's better. That's it. Good. Man, you know what would make it easier for me to gauge if you two would do it better?
My gi does not snap. It's got tight sleeves.
And any sort of long-sleeved thing that you could wear in class that might make it easier for you guys to recognize. Right? So just, I know. It's fascinating. Maybe see if we're starting to sound like me. Did you guys ever think about that?
No.
My gi snaps less than my sweatshirt does.
Good. So you have something to work with then. So not so much tension, right? Just kind of loose, right? You don't even need to form a fist. Just float your hand out. Right? And it's like, all I'm doing from here is that. right? I'm not even thinking about anything else, right? From here, I just want that hand to come back to me as fast as humanly possible, right? But see how you're starting to project too much. You feel that, right? Just let it come back. However it comes back, right? So this one, see how, watch for a second, guys, right? So you see on this side, I come out, and see how my elbow kind of pitches out a little bit, right? It comes to here almost. On this side, let's see what happens. I don't know, maybe it'll do the same thing, maybe it'll do something different. So I come out to here, and it came back down a little bit, right? So see how each one of those has a different movement, a different personality. I'm not worrying about where it's going. All I'm worrying about is just connecting, just floating out, and getting it back as fast as possible. Once it's out, get it back as fast as possible. That's it. Don't even put so much thought into putting your hand out. Just put your hand out and get it back. That was actually pretty good. Good. It's here almost like grabbing, just. Yeah, it doesn't need to be anything in the hand. You're just bringing it out and getting it back as fast as possible. See how you're kind of starting to throw a ball like a punch where it's pushing and pulling? Just come out with the hands and get it back to you as fast as possible. That's all you're doing. So the hand's nice and relaxed. Don't even make a fist. Just nice and open. So just loose. Flop. Flop. Don't put anything in the hands, guys. Just float them out. There's nothing. This is just empty. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to get this empty hand back to my body as fast as possible. That's it. Good. Slow it down a little bit between each set. Well, that's a lot better. That's the idea. Good.
How much more time you want on this?
Not too much. All right. So now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to add that floating back into the pocket aspect to it, right? So, right, from here, just float the hand out. And again, it's going to explode. When it explodes, it's going to come back however it's going to come back. Don't try to put it back in the pocket. Just let the hand come back. So if I come out to here, it's going to explode. I'm going to try and let it float back into the pocket. Right? So it comes out, explodes, comes back to the pocket. Comes out, explodes, back to the pocket. So you can see how with each one of those movements, right? It's not even really like I'm not worried about it, right? It's just coming out, wherever it goes to, it goes to. Wherever it comes back to, it comes back to, and then I float it back into the pocket. Does that make sense? So don't just go with that movement, right? Don't worry so much about like it's got to come here, it's got to connect to the energy wall, because I think that guy that's we over focus on that part, and it throws off the rest of the movement. You're not really getting the floating part of it. So just float. So it floats out, and hand just kind of hanging out in space, right? And I just pull it back, and let it come to wherever it comes to. So that's how I go back to the pocket. Cool. All right, so try that one. Good. And get like a comfortable horse stance. You don't get super low with it. Again, take a second, feel your grounding, feel your position, and then go ahead and go through it. So float that hand out. And then let it float back into the pocket. Wherever it goes to, and then you draw it back in. Good. See, that was super good. I don't want to push too much. let it explode, really let it. Don't be nice about it, right? It's gotta be nice and loose. It's gonna explode. All that momentum just shoots right back through your hand.
This time you're trying to bring it back to life.
It floats. So let it come back to wherever it comes back to. Don't try to like tell it where to go. But as soon as it hits that point, then it floats back down into the pocket. That was pretty good. Then. You feel that one push a little bit. Relax. So I'll wrap it up here and let's see if we take over these guys and wants to work on this or on something else. It's fine. Maybe he's got a better way to explain it. But just get lighter with your hands. That's the only thing I can say. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but like everyone just looks so heavy. You're moving very heavy with the hands, right? And that's not gonna. So if Moshe's up here, right, and I'm standing in front of him. We're moving off of each other, right? I'm not going to be able to like, if he comes in with something, I'm not going to be able to like, come in a little bit more. So like this, I need to be able to work off of it as it's coming in, right? So wherever he comes in with, I have to be able to move off of that. I hit myself in the face coming up, but that's fine, right? I felt where that movement was coming in. I could feel where I want to come in off of that. So I can, each one of these starts to set up a new technique. But I can do that because I'm not tense, right? If I'm here, I'm like trying to go like this, right? So come up again. I'm trying to go here, and then I'm trying to, like, do you feel how, yeah, right? You want to get lighter, and I see this as more playful with the movement, right? And I'm working on it as well, but one of the things I start to think about more is, like, I want my hands to just be able to move freely in the air, right? I don't want to get stuck on Moshe's body movement, because if I get stuck on Moshe, I'm in trouble. He's got a lot of power behind him. If I get stuck on his body movement, I am not going to get anywhere else. I'm not getting out of that. Right, so I need to be able to feel where I'm at and just let my body move, not so much heaviness. So when you're coming with this movement, you're working on these, right? Really think about how to come back light, right? It just comes back all on its own. There's no like pushing and pulling, right? So if you're up here and you just put your hands out, right? It's not this, that, and that. It might feel very good to do that, or it feels very viscerally satisfying to just hit things, right? But there's nothing behind that, right? This is where my movement has to come in. You even feel how they came in differently, connected with it. That's the difference. Do you feel how it's just exploding off that contact point? So if I'm coming in with it, right, if you're here, it allows me to work off of my hand, right? So I can throw, right? So there's one shot here. Actually, there's two, right? It's here, there, right? Because the first one's just gonna lay into his face, and that's where I'm gonna come off of the movement, right? So that was 3 hits, and I kind of just through it, right? Didn't look like 3 heavy hits. So that's kind of when you want to start to work into your movement. Just get lighter and lighter with your hand technique, and that's going to give you a lot more power coming through your movement. All right? Cool. Now let's see.
Right, Professor.
Let's just
Okay, so we're going to start something. We're going to start it earlier, but that's going to be very difficult for you guys. And to get your movement. So in the classes, when you guys come in, first thing I want you to do is when everybody's here, you do your Tai Chi. I want you to start working on your fight form or your 5-element form. And that way we can keep moving the people along that are, so one of you guys teach them, but when everyone's here, to start your Tai Chi. All right, so the whole thing that was kind of funny that they was working on it a little bit was movement and expression. It's got to be really hard, these classes, okay? We're going to make it a series. We'll stay with it. It's up to you guys to stay on track, and it's also up to you guys to remember what we're doing, all right? So when I ask you a question, I want you to be on it. So the whole idea of movement and expression is what we're going to work on. What I would like to do with you guys, where you're at now, is start to improve your movement and your expression. And that's what's going to be really hard about these classes. You're very systematic, you're learning on art, you're doing what you're doing, and you're all doing well. But you need to create the art within yourself. So, I came up, I'm going to give you different things. It's also going to lead into the form fighting. It's going to lead into using another person's strength against them. And there's got to be some tricks to it as well at the end. And you'll be able to gauge yourself and test yourself as well at home. All right? You'll be able to see where you're at. So the first part of what we're going to do now as far as expressing yourself, I'm going to give you a little bit of a break. I was going to be really nasty and give you something right at the beginning, but it's coming. But right now I'm going to give you guys a model. So anywhere before you hit or you strike, you're always doing what? If somebody's in front of you, you're looking, you're seeing, you're viewing, but before you hit, what's happening just before you strike? Whether it's a kick or hands. You're what? Okay, that's good. All right, so you're gonna center just like what we're doing in the Tai Chi and what. But when you center, what else are you looking for before you strike?
Triggers.
Very good. So both are those combinations. That's good. I didn't have to go through all. So what's going to be difficult about what is going to be happening is going to be the second and the third level. The third level that you'll be working on is not so difficult as fun, but it's difficult because it's exactly what you were just talking about at the end. And we're going to have to improve that. So I'm watching you guys do what Sifu Victor was doing, and I'm just, okay, it is heavy. I wanted to ask one question. How come you guys don't have regular sleeves? How come you guys don't have this?
Mine's still in the mail.
You're still in the mail?
I asked him the same question earlier.
You did?
Yeah.
Where'd you order from? Because I have to find that out.
That's the same question I asked him
Oh,
too.
eBay. And where's yours?
In the trunk. I hate it. It's tight and it don't.
We'll get one bigger.
Yeah.
All right? For what we're working on, you're going to need. Or wear a flannel that has a lot of. No, that's not going to do it. That's a sweater. All right? To help with your chi and your movement, to hear the sound and everything coming back. These are the best because you hear the snap. That, I don't know what that is. That's just a teddy bear. That's okay, all right? So maybe you're just getting better, all right? All right. But I can't see your hands because they're hiding behind you. Yeah. Unless you're so fast, you know? Okay? All right, so these exercises that we're going to work on are going to lead into what I want to do within the Sifu classes as well. And from the last class that we did, which I thought was was one of the best classes I thought I taught. As far as reaching you guys, I think we did it. As far as the Tai Chi and stuff, so I'm not going to test you on that. We're going to move from there and build on it. So there's got to be one part of this thing that's going to be really hard. But right now we're going to make it a little bit easier. So, root, right, and trigger. So this is what you've got to work on at the moment. But what you've got to work on, so everybody just pair off with somebody. Just pair off, anybody. Doesn't matter. There. All right, so let me use you, Alex. So what's going to happen here is you're going to be concentrating on different things. You're going to be moving against each other, but it's going to be really understanding your body movement. The person in front of you right now, and this is the easiest part of the session, right? The person that's in front of you right now is just your shadow demon or your energy wall, all right? Okay, and that's an important thing for what's in the middle of this, all right? All right, so we'll talk more about that. When we'll talk about it, you guys already know, but there's a difference between your shadow demons and your energy walls. Okay, so if he takes a fighting position, this is your shadow demon. This is the things that you deal with. And if you get into what they're actually represent, they actually represent different levels of your consciousness. We won't get into the philosophy of that, but we will when we do those classes, right? The other part is your energy wall. So he's got to stand here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to line yourself up to that. Now, after that move, you can make 1 or 2 moves here. Bless you. You can make 1 or 2 moves here. If you're going to throw a kick, what's important about the kick is that you trigger and then you throw it. So if I'm standing here and I'm throwing a kick, right, I'm seeing my range, I'm seeing where I'm at, this is my trigger. I'm triggering and then I throw. So the kick is thrown from the trigger. So you're practicing your kicking. You can practice all different designs of kicking. If I'm standing here and I go this way and I move here and here, he's just going to stand there. So at this point, I see my range. If I throw this kick, this kick in particular, on this range, is going to be a straight back. Right? It's going to come straight back kick. If I want to come here and I want to throw a side kick, right, a back side, I have to move this foot in. I trigger, and then I throw. All right? So you get an idea of your range, where you're going to do it. Combinations are good. All right, so he's standing here, and now I take my stance. My movement from here is so that you guys have to concentrate, because I said the middle level of this, at the end, is going to be very difficult for you guys. So this is giving you a break to actually start to do it. All right? So at this point here, if I'm going to throw a punch, it's going to move through the ether, it's going to move through the air. I'm going to engage my root and my triggers, which you guys were spot on. Right? So here, this is not throwing a punch. If I come here, I have to see how my foot turns. I'm coming here. This is all nuances that I want you guys to concentrate on, that you're blowing, that you're losing. Right? When you see it, you just throw it. Right? Okay? But you're not seeing all this. And then I'm throwing. And I'm coming back. That's your movement. This is how you throw. If I throw another punch, you see, I'm feeling the movement through the whole motion of it. It takes a little bit of patience, right? A combination of punching and kicking, all right, that comes in. In fact, let's not give a rule to it. So if you're standing here, your opponent, if he's standing here, just sits there and waits. Right? And when you're done, then he moves again. And then the other person can go. Okay? So if you want to do like 4 times, you just go. Like he moves again, and then you go 4, and then you do it again. So each person moves 4 times, so you really get a good round with it. You can relax. If you want to work on something again, so the person that's standing for your shadow demon and your energy walls, they don't move until you move. So if my opponent is in front of me, there's no movement until I reset, so you move around. You got to do like 4 of each. All right? And now you got to, when you're doing this here, if we're standing, I'm feeling where I'm actually hitting from. So this hit is going to be a sig punch. It's kind of what you were doing with the 7 count. I'm going to hit him right here. So when I hit, I'm going to come, you see how I come up? And I come in, and then it comes here, boom, and then it hits. So the hit, at this point, boom, it's going to hit this way, boom, right? I'm going to come out slow, feel that hit, feel where it's going to come in, okay? And then we're going to play with some different levels to it to help you guys get some different levels of using your gray matter in a better way than you guys are doing. You guys got the idea? Everybody knows what we're doing?
So we're moving slowly and emphasizing.
Yeah, you're just moving slow. That's the floating. So if Venom is standing here, right, and we're in a fighting position, here you see, I'm going to throw this punch slow, but I'm engaging everything. I'm feeling how this is lining up with this, and all of that. That's all I really want you to do. I really want you to concentrate on your overall body movement and how I'm moving through. So here, he's a target for me, right? And then I'm hitting my energy wall, you know, where it's got to be coming back. Okay, so when I come here, but when I throw it, boom, it all comes in with a lot of power. So you're trying to connect your movement to your body movement, which you guys don't do. So that's why one of the reasons this is going to be really, really hard. And we're going to do it in levels. There's going to be other things I'm going to introduce here that are going to be fun. Some part of it's going to be fun, and then when we get into the, it's all going to be kind of fun. This part is not fun, and the part where I'm going to show you guys at the end, which you guys can take home, is not going to be fun, right? Which you can try.
None of this will be fun, but.
Yeah, this is all fun. This part is fun here. You just really have to practice some patience with your tempo, right? And this is allowing you. So if you tend to go faster and faster in the movement, you're blowing it. And that's what I'm going to yell at you. Like, what are you doing? It's slow movement. You're moving through the ether. You hit your point where you stop and you come back. The person that's in front of you is just a target. Okay? So you could do one movement, you could do two movements, and then let's say each person goes 4 times. So you have 4 attacks from each new position, and then you get 4 attacks from each new position. So if there's a point where the person is not sure, like, oh, should I move? The person that's attacking says, okay, go. And then you move to a different position. Now, when they're moving from a different position, from one position to another, the movement is slow. Okay? So if we're standing here and I just threw an attack, and now I say, okay, go. When he goes, you see how I'm working with him? He's in a lot of trouble here. Right? Right? He's in a lot of trouble. One simple strategy, I'm straight on him. He's facing me this way. He just gives me all of his contact points. Right? So I'm also setting him up with my movement. Because you guys' stance work needs to also come into here. You're moving slow enough that you can see it. So a suggestion, right? When I say, so it's working for the fighter, not as much for the mannequin, right? So you're always going to set up with your viewing and moving a little bit behind him. You've got to cheat. So you can cheat here to see how your footwork goes. So we're standing here again. And then, okay, I'm done. Now you move. You see where I'm cheating. Like I'm coming in after. That's okay for the attacker because it's helping you work on your footwork. So you don't want to end exactly at the same time as the person that's attacking. You want to work on how you're stepping into them and you're using them to do that. You got that? So it's not ending exactly at the same time. You're viewing, almost if I had to exaggerate, right? If I had to exaggerate, right? We're standing here and I go, okay, move. Right? If I'm over-exaggerating, I don't want you to do that, but you're seeing that, so you're moving behind them. It's got to work on your eyes and how you're lining up your body to the opponent. And that's another thing that you guys are going to be very bad at. You know? So this allows you to work on it. We'll work on it for, like 10 minutes. You can play. It's it's cool, but you can't leave the program. In other words, you can't pick up your speed. You can't come in and go like this. You have to stay here because it's important for you to gauge this and what you're doing. So you've got to work as a team. If you pick up your speed, I'm going to yell at you. All right? What the hell are you doing? Right? Oh yeah, the big kahuna bat. I used to have, back in the day, I used to hit people with a bamboo staff.
No, you shouldn't. Shouldn't bring out.
We used to do the stance drill, like when I was a maniac, and I had the bamboo staff. It was a long staff back in the hut days. And if they came up over the staff, I would just wiggle it, and it would just and it cut their head. I wouldn't mind doing that today, but that's one way of learning. But it didn't work. They still were dummies. So this is good stuff that you're working on. Yeah, they were just terrified. Brought that out. Yeah. It was good, It was good. The long bamboo staff was whacking, which is fun. I learned that from my sequel because he did it for me. That's how I lost all my hair. It just kept shaving my head, Yeah. I don't think he had a staff. He had a staff, but it wasn't bamboo. It was nasty. All right, you guys ready? Team up and do it. Let's see what you do. Now remember, this is singular concentrating on your vessel. Okay, guys, it's just you moving. You got to stay with that so you get an idea where your power is coming from. This will increase power and speed. Right? And if you want to repeat it, you can. So,
No, four.
So no, it doesn't have to be 4 moves. It could be, you just go 4 times. So it could be 1, 2, then you say, okay, you're redone, and then you reset, so you're getting that whole thing, right? It could be 1 punch you throw, it could be a punch and a kick, it could be 2 kicks that you throw. It's whatever you want to do so that you're working on your overall body motion and connect. It's the same thing that form does. And that's why I want you guys to practice your 5-element form. But I want you to see where your pullbacks are coming from, how you're expressing from your center are today's words, you know, core, which I really don't like because that is your root. Okay, another thing. Okay, one more thing. When you guys tell the other person to move, okay, Julia. So if I'm standing here, she's here, and I just did my program, and I say, okay, go. When I go, if I put my hands down, they have to have a reason. Reset doesn't mean we just put them down. That's what you just did, right? Reset means, like if you have a reason that they're coming down, it's fine. You're not conducting. You know, you're just, that person in front of you is just doing what they're doing. They're your shadow demon, right? And they're always going to crush you. So the whole point here is if I'm here, like there's 2 examples here, right? If I'm here and I say, okay, I'm ready. If I come down and then I reset, I'm seeing that. There's a difference in that, okay? If we're here again and I go, okay, I'm done with my set, and then she comes in again, okay? You see where I'm moving here? I'm seeing where my attacks are going to be. So my hands here are lining up. So you see I have multiple attacks here. And I'm also engaging all of her, where all her powers going to come from. You know, her legs and her arms. If I was fighting an octopus, it'd be different. But I'm just fighting, well, maybe with those sleeves you got, right? Okay? So when you get, it's important that you guys stay committed to where you are. Okay? So you guys float. Everything today is floating. What I mean is not the floating in the movement, because you're not floating. It's just that you're so disengaged with everything because you're overstimulated by everything that's around you. Right? Everything. Your cell phones, your computers, you're just always driving your car, just overstimulated. Right? And this here, it's important for you to stay focused and engaged with what you're doing here. Don't let it go. So it's really important, and the idea here is practicing overall body matrix and mindfulness. So if I do drop my arms, and I'm here, I say, okay, Ben, we're done. And then he goes to move, and I'm moving with him. I have a drop, and I'm just using it to figure out, or to have movement, but I'm still engaged. If we're here, and I go, okay, go, and then I go here, you see where I'm engaging? I'm engaging where my attack's going to be. And so far, by the way I'm attacking anybody that was standing here, you guys are in a lot of trouble. Right? Because I also feel this. And what that does it makes it also very hard for you to hurt as a person. I've been hit with 2x4s with nails in it, I've been stabbed, I've been everything else. It just all that stuff just all comes into the play. It makes you hard to hurt because you're also geared and you can see what's coming at you. So you're you know, and in nanoseconds you're much more prepared to take a shot and move off of it. Like Rick was talking about earlier when you two were out here and demonstrating what you were doing. So there's a lot of good benefits from this, guys, but you gotta stay here. And the whole world at this point, to practice your focusing, is the shadow demon that's in front of you. Nothing else matters. And how you're hitting that energy wall from. Nothing matters. You stay there. Okay? You guys ready? Mm-hmm. So you're practicing some good stuff here. Just the whole idea of trying to increase your gray matter, and instead of working with your reptile brain. All right, go ahead. Bikers at one time, and you may have heard the story, but it's worth saying again since we're taping it. I'm sitting at the bar with this one guy, big dude, tough, right? And you know, I come in and he knows about me, so I'm just this little, I guess, honey badger, that people don't want to stand in front of. And I'm standing there, and we're talking, and we're drinking shots, and he starts talking about, the economy. Very smart guy, right? Just the economy, how things are going, this, that, and the other thing. And I just want to make a note for our listeners and for everybody that's out there and what we're doing, that forever the world has been ending, right? There's been social upheaval and all of that. It depends on where you are at that time and if it happens at that time. Everybody, I was just talking to a guy that really is very in touch with finance and stuff like that, and he's warning me about all the stuff that's going to happen, where to put my money in and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be dealing with him, talking with him, teaching him a little bit, but I don't care. Because I can survive anywhere. I don't need money to survive. I don't need any of that, or gold, or silver, or all that stuff that everybody's worrying about, and the economy. I don't need it. All I need is me, and my understanding, and a group. So here's the story. So I'm sitting there, and that's kind of what I'm training you guys for as well, to really kind of band together. But people don't band together, right? They don't. So what happens here is I'm sitting at the bar, I'm sitting with this guy, he's like a side of a planet, and I'm sitting there, right, and we're talking, and he goes, well, I know these guys because they're all involved with that. They have all their armament and all their supplies at this place or that place or the other place. They all gather and they have their things there. I know just individually. So a lot of people are loaded up with supplies and, they're looking for it. In fact, a couple of my friends got wiped out because the police raided them and killed a couple of them. All right, so it's you gotta be careful. Anyway, this guy's sitting here all tats and he's going like this, and we're talking, right? And he's going on to me. He goes, well, I know where that stuff is. I'm just gonna go over, kill them, and take their stuff. And this guy's dead serious. It's not, and I'm like sitting there and go, oh, okay. And I said, well, you really realize I don't have any stuff, right? As we're talking, and he goes, oh no, man, I would recruit you. You got those skill sets, I'm afraid of you. Well, you should be, because I could kill you, right? I don't need a gun to do it, but he knows that. So we're sitting there, and I said, hey. And we're sitting at he had those big pudgy hands, like those freaking Russian mafia guys, right? And he's sitting there, and we're drinking one of the shots where I go, hey, don't you think it would be better to team up with people and work together as a team? Take the people that have this instead of just going there, killing the family, doing whatever, and taking it. Wouldn't it be better to create a membership where people are getting together? And we're sitting at the bar, and I'll end it with this, and then we're going. He's sitting at the bar, and he's twirling his shot, and he's thinking. That's what he's thinking, right? He's thinking. He looks back and he goes, nah. That's the end of the conversation. That's it. People are gonna do what they're gonna do, right? So you first have to learn how to take care of your vessel, and then you can work with other people and other teams. So if things go down, Vic is a paramedic. He has a lot of abilities, so he's valuable. He doesn't go into the suit. You're a physics guy. What the hell you got to offer, right?
I'm also an engineer.
So there you go. So maybe you want to go into the suit. So think about that stuff. All right, so here's the fun part. This is going to be the fun part where you're doing. Now, you guys all remember Catch the Fly? No, that's Squash the Fly, all right? Catch the Fly. Well, here's going to do kind of like what I used to do as a kid. I used to do slap boxing. You ever do slap boxing? It's nasty.
Is that the show where you're
No, that's different. That's just not cool. All right. So no, slap boxing is that you're boxing, but your hands are open and you're slapping the person. You're not going to do that. okay? But it's a lot of fun. I remember this one boxer I used to fight all the time. We slap boxing. You just get inside and you come with the things on your cheek and your head and everything else. It was fun. So this is gonna kind of be the same way. So you're gonna do the same thing that you were doing now, but you gotta do catch the fly. So now I'm looking for freer movement. Your legs they'll come up, they'll have the triggers if you throw, so legs are still doing the same thing, so you're practicing your legs. But your hands, so like you pick up, boom, leg comes out, boom, it just comes right out, okay? So before you were triggering a little bit and then throwing it, which is giving you the lineup, now you're gonna do like the slap box. So what happens here is if you have your opponent in front of you, all right, and you gotta do your move, it's this way. You see what I just did? So if we're slap boxing, that's what happens. That's how you get hit, right? So I'm coming to the target. I can touch. You don't have to touch the face, but you can hit. The idea here is to get freer movement, but you're using the same methods that you did here. You have to position first. So the slap boxing is just playful. You're getting playful with it. You're getting playful with your movement, and you're just moving. So in my slap box, how I'm moving back. So this is to catch the fly, right? We've all done that before. And maybe I'll do one class because of video we can show it. But the whole idea is like, the fly is here, I catch it. The hands don't have to come back. Their hands should always come back this way. Okay? All right? So I'm not just taking the hand and leaving it here. It's coming back. If it comes back, it curves back this way. Okay? So your slap box. If I slap box here, you see, or I come here, which would have been a punch here. So if I'm curving my hand, right, it could be a punch. All right? So all you gotta do is be more playful with your movement. And if I'm standing here and I'm gonna go 4 times, I'm gonna, and then move. As he moves, I'm seeing the position, right? You see where I'm coming in. And I know that this punch is a cross punch. I know this, so you'll be able to understand where you're coming from. But the whole idea is as fast as you're going out, you should be coming back a little bit faster, right? So if Vic is standing here and I throw like the famous Bruce Lee's punch, whoa, right? And while I'm throwing this, boom, you can see right, boom, and what he was talking about earlier in the class, when you come back, you just bring it back. So all this is here, so I'm seeing how I'm lining everything up. So this is going to give you a little freer movement. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more playful, but you got to play. You got to play. You see it and you move. So it's the same rule. So when you get done slapping him or throwing your kicks real quick, and he, of course, on this one, you're going to have to say more. Okay, just say okay, and he resets, and then as he resets, so I just did all my slapping. Man, sometimes I really want to slap him. I just bought this big foam bat from where I was moving from. I'm going to keep it in the kitchen. All right, so. Yeah, well, we have gang fights. We will have gang fights. All right, so I have to.
Whether you like it or not, it's gonna happen.
You should do that. You're adopted. It's not arranged.
Yeah, there'll be gang fights here just to get the chaos. It's so much. I just enjoy watching you guys.
We're on camera. We're on camera.
All right, so from here, at this point, I just did my movement. Now I'm going to say go. As he says go, I'm moving. Now, the only difference here, okay? Okay, so we're here. If I say okay, and then he goes, so we just, boom! You see how I moved as he was moving? I get to practice that. So I'm also practicing how we're positioning here. So again, it's just defense and offense moving here. It's got to get tough when it becomes both together. All right? And that's where things get, and you guys got to improve to be able to do that. In the street, in combat, it's not like fighting in a ring where you're sizing each other up, you're trying to do it. Combat is just different because the person wants to kill you. So what's different when somebody wants to murder you, they're coming at you with everything they have. They don't care about your skill sets, that they may care if you're just a big guy or whatever it is and all these things come. And you watch some people like on the street, they'll be able to take the guy and just throw him because they're leading, they're seeing how they're leading it, like Manny. would probably be really very proficient at that. Like the guy's coming in like a maniac and he just would be able to throw him because he's using this technique. Okay? So this is playful, this is a lot of fun. Is your Amazon thing, did you order through Amazon?
I ordered for eBay.
eBay? How long ago? Like a year?
No, when you yelled at me that.
Oh, okay, and that was like 2 weeks ago, right?
That was a lot longer than
Yeah.
Target.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I think you're lying to me.
I can show
You know,
you.
maybe I'll slap you. You know, we'll do the slapping and that's, we'll just even exchange. You can slap me too. All right?
I don't really want to do that.
All right, all right. Go ahead, guys. This will be fun. This will loosen up, be a little bit playful. Make sure you tell the other person okay, and you make those moves. You could also attack in the interim. They're really trying to use your visual here and get your movement.
I'll do a couple for you. I was just going to the window and try it out for them.
Yeah, just get used to each other. That's why I'm keeping you with the same partners.
Just a big type on it.
Okay. You're doing okay, but you're thinking too hard. Move with them. If I'm here, like I'm watching Venom, overthinks everything. Part of your problem, right? Right. So if I'm standing here and I go, fuck, I slap, and then I go, okay. I'm not standing here thinking about it. I see it. Okay, just stay where you're at. I see it. I see my range is a little bit off. So I'm going to do what with my range, right? The same thing you're working on here. How am I going to correct my range? Now, he's got these Magilla Gorilla arms, if anybody remembers what Magilla Gorilla is, right? And I said here, I'm going to change that range because I'm going to come with this fist. I'm going to turn my foot, and it's going to let me in. I'm just going to turn it, boom. And I know that I'm going to do that, and that's also the idea of practicing. But if you're sitting in, you're thinking like you're doing Einstein's theory, right? No, it's play. You've got to play. You've got to be loosened. You gotta play, you move, you go to the next one. So this moves very quickly. Alright, this moves, the other one moves slow. You ever watch this? I remember as a kid when I used to play baseball, and you get the bat, and they used to, because I was a small kid, that bat's too heavy for you. I just take the heaviest bat, and then I take another couple of bats, and I put them together, and I just be swinging it. Well, the whole idea of that when I was a kid was that the heavierness, when I got the light bat, I can hit those home runs. That's how I thought back then. So maybe there's some truth to it. Because, man, I could belt that ball to China. When I hit it, man, it was just amazing. Right? And I was able to see it. And this was before the martial art. So the whole idea, I just had problems with those ground balls. And ground balls coming at you, boy. You hit that grass. Oh. So anyway, so like the whole idea here is the same thing. Like you're doing slow, you're doing all of that stuff, and then now here you gotta play, you gotta be playful. Like the Joker, why so serious? Why are you so serious? Right? You guys have nothing to be serious about. You know, it's all done for you on MTV and all that other stuff. Right? Just get out there and start moving. Does MTV still exist anymore? I don't even know.
No.
All right? Video killed the radio star. All right, go ahead guys, go.
It's all TikTok.
Play, man, why not? You got to express from your center though, guys. Right? You're still doing the same thing that you were doing slow. You're still bringing all that into play. Remember, your forward motion and your back motion should be coming back a little bit faster than your forward motion. And you're slapping. Okay, so Tim, when you're doing your action, no more movement.
Plant down.
You plant down and you throw from wherever you are. There's no more going on. You stay right where you are, so you're practicing that whole idea, that stability in that movement. Right? So demonstrate to him. Let's see if you got what I'm doing. So you're going to do the slapping, so he's got to come at you. Go ahead, so. And then you say okay.
Okay.
See how he's just staying there? Right? And you see where you need to work. right? Okay, so this is just become more playful, guys. Don't be so, let your brain enter into different levels of consciousness, right? When you're moving. Now, some of you guys, okay, let me stop for a second. Some of you guys are still coming out with your fist. Remember, it's this. There's no fist here. It's catch the fly. Well, all of you guys are coming out with your fist. All right, so you got to stop that. This is a slap. Like, think of your arm as a whip. When you come back, it's coming back this way. Sometimes this way, but I think maybe you guys should avoid that because you're doing it too much. Right? Just here, or I'm coming back here. Like I'm coming back like this. So when I'm coming out, I'm taking my hand going this way. You hear that snap? That's also my fingers hitting my fingers. It's not just this. Right? It's also coming in from here. So as I'm moving, I'm not doing this because you guys are starting out like this. It has to be a whip. You're if I'm slap boxing, I'm going this way. Right? See? I'm slap. If I'm doing praying mantis and I'm coming in here or crane, it's the same thing. All this motion is coming in. Right? So this is what's going to increase that whole idea of coming in, but your hands have to stay open. When you get better, if they close here, that's okay, because then you're going to practice that. I don't really want you to do that here. I just want you to slap the person's face off or body. Slap. And no more movement. So if he's standing here and I go, and then I go, okay, I stand here. So if my slap comes this way, you see this slap?
So you don't want sitting in the movement anymore, you just want us to step first.
Say that again?
You're having us hit between the movements as well. You don't
Yeah, you can do that in between the movements, but once, so like if we're doing in between the
Okay.
movements, not what you were doing before, right? So, okay, go. And I hit here. Once the movement stops, I stay there.
Okay.
I'm not going to be doing anything else from that.
Got it.
You just stay where you're at.
Got it.
Because now you're doing your viewing. Okay, guys? Go ahead. This is going to be fun if you do it right. Right? And really take you a long way. Because you guys all move like molasses. All of us. There isn't one person that's not been
a little bit.
Okay,
What I want.
then we want me to reset that.
Alright, yeah.
Make sure you know where you're coming back to. So if you're coming back, if your back motion is coming in, you have to have a design with it based on how the person is standing in front of you. Right? You just don't throw it back. You have to know the destination of your hand that's coming back. You may want to try to throw the same hand like twice. Right? Just to see what you do, like boom, boom. Right? All right, guys. So we're running a little short on time. So we're not going to do the one I'm going to do, but I'm going to give you prelude to it, what you got to do at home. All right? So you have to design yourself. I'm going to do that a little bit here. We'll just scatter you all about this so you can just get it. What that means is now you're going to fight your energy walls and your shadow demons with nobody there. Now, 5-element form and your Tai Chi kind of gives you a model to do that from. But this now is created by you. And I know it's going to be atrocious. It's going to be horrible. So it's freestyle movement with the slow movement that you're doing here. You can also do a quicker move. But what I want you to do is I want you to, for lack of a better term, I want you to flow through the matrix. I want you to flow with gravity. I want you to move with the quantum. I want you to move with all the subatomic particles. I want you to move through the ether. And I want your body to be the center of all of that. So you should feel like what we discussed in the Tai Chi, doing this here. So what's going to happen is you're going to come out, you're going to command your stage, and you're going to be all by yourself. You're going to do that just once now, just so you guys can see how bad you're going to be at it. Right? And then you're going to come, and it can be very flamboyant. It can be very tight. But it has to have meaning. So all through this as well, you're going to be working with your stance work. You're going to be working and using your center. You're going to be using your root. It has to be present through the whole thing. So now I'm going to just express moves of the ether. That's all I want you to do. So now you have, don't think of something that's in front of you, you're moving through it. But it has a point where it stops. It goes, that looked pretty cool, right? It just looked cool, like a movie, you know? But movies, they suck. So now you're getting all this movement. So you can see here, I'm moving, right? I'm expressing. And then here, I'm moving and I'm expressing. I'm seeing how I'm moving. I can feel the movement. All I want you to do is make sure you keep that presence in you through the motion and movement. And you're creating through the ether, through gravity, through the subatomic world. So this is something you can actually introduce into practicing at home. And then here, it will allow me to gauge you. I'll see by what you're doing just now how well you move, right? And how disconnected you are. Well, you're all going to be disconnected right now. But it gives you something to practice. So I've given you a stage to work on. Now this is going to lead in to the form fighting, to the grappling and grappling takedown. So we're heading somewhere. So you got to get better at your overall body consciousness. Your mind has to move through your body, connect with all the mini minds and mini brains throughout the body. Okay? And this is what's going to help you. So I just want you to stand here. Everybody get up and stand. Right? And then you're going to create, right? You're going to create your, now you do it in the Tai Chi and you do it in the 5-element form. All of this stuff is coming into that, right? But now you have to create it. And all it is keeping in touch with your center, with your root, how you're stepping into a move. So if I'm here, I'm doing this here. You see, I can feel all this. Now if I want to move, how I'm moving. How I'm moving with it. And you see the down, up, and up motion, and all of this. It's just kind of like you're making a movie in a sense. But you have to stay centered. That presence has to always be there. That presence from your center is what expands into infinity. Okay? You guys ready? So I just want you to try and practice this at home in close quarters and wide quarters and give you an idea. And this is one way to bring everything that you're doing into a better expression. But I want you to try it. And I'm not gonna judge you today. But it is something for you to practice. And it's easy to practice.
You always say that, and then you say, that was terrible.
No, it is going to be terrible. Yeah, it will be terrible next week when I see you do it, and then we say, Julie, have you been practicing? And you're going to go, I'm just doing the octopus, right? So this is important. Now, when you bring this in, you can't walk to your car without doing it. You can't sit in your car. Now, everybody knows me, and they all call me Yoda, right? And I was just out with some people the other day, and they go, is your knee bothering you? No, it's actually feeling pretty good. Why are you moving the way you? Because I move slow. And anybody who's walked with me knows that. I move slow. I take it all in. I'm aware how my body's moving. I'm constantly practicing. I don't drive my car. I don't walk from my house to the car. Everything is, when I'm at work, I evaluate how much time it's going to take me to move from here to the mixer. I am aware, I'm consciously aware, it will just happen with you. Right? And you'll always feel that connection. All right, so let's do this for the last just minute, just to get you guys started. Go ahead and just do it. I'm not going to watch. Just do it. Just go. So some speeds can go a little bit quicker, some could go a little bit slower. It's too fast. You're moving through the ether. You see how your brain goes through your comfort zone? Right? You can't go to the comfort zone. All right, stop now. Just one other thing, right? So now, we're going to stand in front of each other. When you have a partner, You gotta stand, you gotta do this, okay? Just don't do what you're just doing now. Get yourself relaxed, all right? And now we're gonna move against each other. Ready, go. All right, so you see it's like, all right? And that's what I'm gonna see when I get you guys moving against each other. It's gonna be horrible. Already, Tim went back into this mode and he's just, what are you doing? Did I tell you to do that? I didn't tell you to do that. Why are you doing that? Right? Because your brain is goofy and it just wants to do that. His brain's goofy. You guys aren't using your brains. You're going back into your freaking reptile brain. You want to be a reptile all your life? An iguana? Well, they do have orgasms for 24 hours, so it's not too bad. And sit on a rock and bathe in the sun. Right? Okay, so maybe that's not too bad, all right? But you're not an iguana.
Right now.
You're not an iguana. You're here. So if I'm standing here, and this is what's coming up, I'm going to get rough on you guys if I start seeing what you just did. You go back to your rubber band comfort zones. You can't do that. I am not allowing you to do it. I swear to God, I will take that big kahuna stick and slap you in the head with it. No, I'll get that bamboo I have.
I got a rattan one too, so you can handle this.
So if you're standing here and we're going to move, first we relax, and now he's going to move. So I'm looking for options here. I'm seeing where my attacks are going to be just for the movement. Go ahead. All right? And this is all. Go ahead. You see how I'm moving? Right? I'm just moving. All I want you to do is just move, not fight. Right? Or whatever the hell you guys are doing. All right, so you got an idea. This is what's the part I was telling you is going to be really tough. But it was all pretty cool. You guys did okay. You did all right. Would I have you fight that guy that went, nah? No, you would all die. No matter how tough you may think you are, that guy has street experience and he's a murderer. There's a big difference. And I don't believe anything he said like I usually. No, he'd probably kill me right away because he wouldn't want me around. Right? Okay, so you gotta practice movement. If you go home and you just did what you did here, I'm gonna beat the hell out of you, right? I better not see that ever again when you're practicing this. So this is what I'm saying. You need to stay with your discipline. Your discipline is all scattered. Your body matrix is all scattered. You need to discipline yourself. Get your brain doing what you want it to do instead of it doing what it wants to do, which is a perfect example, all of it. All of it. The Hulk just went right back to the Hulk move. Whoa, whoa. I could crush him with that, right? In movement. So you gotta discipline your brain. Stop letting your brain tell you what it wants to do. You start telling it. It will always go to its comfort zones. It will always do what it feels is best. You know what's best, but you're not listening to it, right? Now you just shut it off and you let the brain move through the body. It is an amazing, amazing thing. The brain is amazing. You need to use more of it, right? Stop rubber banding. Boom. I do never, ever want to see that again, right? Because you know now you're in trouble. I'm going to come stop you. Right? Okay? You guys need to become your own vessels. You need to pay attention to it. So all of this is getting you to get there. It's an amazing journey if you let it happen. And maybe you'll understand physics. Instead of being just a professor. Professor, I'm a doctor, professor. Look. Here's some physics for you. How did that feel? Did you feel the quantum physics go destroy your body and expand into a black hole? Right? All right? Live it. Move with gravity. Don't fight gravity. Feel the bones. Feel all this stuff. You guys are amazing that you're here. It's just amazing that you're here today. You know? And if the school starts to grow and we start getting people because of what we're doing, I will take you guys, because this is, is there anybody missing? No, this is it. Right? And we will continue these type of classes until they get advanced enough to do it. But right now, you guys need to practice it. I gave you ways to practice it at home. You have your forms, you know, the 5 element, you have your Tai Chi, and now you have your expression. And you can even slap box your shadows. Your shadow. Just boom, but this boom has to stay here. Boom, it has to stay. All right, go learn, teach guys, good class.
Seafood.
Yeah.
You want ninja sushi?
Do I? Yeah, okay.
I'm going to make my own food.
Oh, you are? Okay, I'm cool.